Hello, smilers. Welcome back to my channel. Yesterday, we discussed trusting God, and we discussed, is God real? Because the basis of trusting God is believing that He is real, because the scripture that we read told us that we have to believe. That's Hebrews 11:6, that we have to believe that He is real. That was the first step. So I left you with the question of, is He real, and why is He real to you? So important, so necessary, crucial core question to your journey, to starting your journey to trusting God. So these are just practical steps that I want to go over with you, discuss with you. I'm trying to simplify this as best as possible to make this process something that you can feel obtainable, something that you feel like it's a process that you can actively be a part of. I want you to actively be a part of the growth that you're going to experience when you begin to trust God. And I was thinking about trusting God. I want to let this know that in order to be a believer, in order to be a born again believer, you may ask yourself, what does that take to be a born again believer? Being a born again believer means that you are accepting who God is, and you are saying, yes, He is real, and yes, I'm going to listen to the instructions that He's giving. A lot of times we want to be a born again believer, or we say we believe God and we know He's real, but we don't listen to the instructions that He's giving us, or that what He's telling us. And you're saying, well, how do I get to that step? How do I get past the hesitation and I'm able to fully trust and listen? So you believe He's real. That part is established. You know He's real. You've thought about how He is real in your life, okay? So I want you to think about your closest, dearest friend, your best friend in the world. We're not going to talk about God. You know, a lot of people, especially believers, God is my best friend. I'm going to talk about on earth, human, fleshly, your best friend, whether your best friend is a guy, whether your best friend is a girl, your best friend. How did that person become your best friend? What was the key component to that person being your best friend? Well, one, you were introduced to this person. This person, whether you work together, whether you went to school together, because a lot of people are friends with people that they've gone to school with, and they're still friends. So you decided to be a part of this person's life by how? How did you decide that? Well, it was something about them that made you want to get to know them better. Okay? Really simple. You saw this person, you was like, okay, they seem pretty neat, or they seem pretty cool. I want to get to know this person better. Well, it's the same concept with God. There was something about Him, something someone said, something that you experienced or heard that made you want to get to know Him better, that made you want to actually start a relationship with Him. No relationship starts out jumping, head in, here we go. It takes time to build that relationship. Yes, you're going to go into the relationship wanting to know more about this person, wanting to be around them, wanting to hang out, wanting to have fun and do all these adventures, but you're taking your time to get to know them. They're taking their time to get to know you. In this aspect of having a relationship with God, though, He already knows you. So you're taking the time to get to know Him and to understand who He is. And that's how that trust begins to build. I want you to remember how you started your relationship with your friend, how you begin that relationship with getting to know them and trusting them and building confidence in them, and understand that that same dynamics goes into building, trusting, and starting a relationship with God. It takes time. And what's so amazing is God understands that you're getting to know Him. He doesn't expect you to have it all figured out. He doesn't expect you to have this amazing knowledge of everything He is and everything He does and who He how He operates. you're getting to know him, and he doesn't mind. He loves the fact that he has drawn you into this relationship, and now you're saying, I want to get to know you better. So you've decided he's real. You decided why he's real to you. You've now decided, I want to get to know God better. I want to get to build a relationship with God. So if you did not start out like that, reintroduce yourself. Take some time, get in a quiet place, sit to yourself, and just start over. Hi, my name is Bridget. Nice to meet you, God. You can do that. You can begin to build your relationship with God wherever you are. It may have started rocky. It may have started in a place where you were unsure or uncertain and all these different things. Hey, let's start over. Let's start from scratch. And let's start by introducing ourselves and getting to know God so that we are clear and the relationship we have is not built on false expectations, limitations, and it's not built on what someone else told you. I was raised in the church. My dad was a pastor. My mom's an evangelist. So everything I ever knew about God was from hearing my dad or hearing my mom. And, I had some experiences on my own, but I really relied heavily on their experiences for me. And as I got older, I realized, hey, you need a relationship for yourself. Their job was to introduce you. Their job was to present God to you. But you have to be responsible for your own relationship with God. So I encourage you to be active in your relationship with getting to know God, getting to discover who he is, understanding his power, understanding how practical, how he uses the simplest things to make your life more amazing, and how he builds you up to where you're going, to where your trust is blossoming and your trust is amazingly huge, and you are able to truly embrace all of who he is, and you take the limits off of who he is. Because what happens is, if you don't really know a person or you don't really know or understand God, you're going to put limits. You're going to set expectations that are not accurate or that are false, and you don't want to do that. That's not fair. That's so unfair to him for you to set these expectations and limits on him because you haven't taken the time to get to know him. And I want to remind you, even with your best friend, there's been some high points of your relationship. There's been some low points of your relationships. You may have had some disagreements with your friend, but you made it through and you communicated and you talked it through, and you were able to get to the place where both of you had an understanding and an appreciation for one another. So as we begin and as we continue the journey, truly get to know God. And you can't get to know him unless you read his word, the Bible. Whether it's on your phone or your Kindle, or you still have a Bible like I do. Whether they gave you a free Bible at the fair, it's upside down. Whether you gave you a free Bible at the fair, you got to open it. You got to open it so you can get to know him and build that relationship and really embrace the teachings. The Bible is true. It is true. I read a phrase. I don't know who said it. I wish I did so I could give them credit. They said the Bible is true. Don't let a liar teach it to you. So it's so important that you go into this word with an open mind and an open heart to really get to know who God is for yourself. So I hope that this journey of trusting God is making more sense to you. I know we just started with the discussion, but there is definitely more to come.